Think and Grow Rich in 10 Minutes a Day by Napoleon Hill, an official publication of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Publisher's Note: Think and Grow Rich in 10 Minutes a Day enables you to quickly and effectively study and put into practice the greatest personal development program of all time. It extracts the key principles, instructions, and stories from Napoleon Hill's original masterpiece and presents them in modernized, easily accessible language so that in only 10 minutes a day, you can begin to master the success system that has made more millionaires and top influencers than any other achievement program. Originally published in 1937, Think and Grow Rich helped end the Great Depression with its 13 steps to amass riches. It holds the keys to financial independence, harmonious relationships, power, happiness, fulfillment, and peace of mind. All forms of wealth can be yours if you are willing to pay the price, and that is to think, to enlarge your mind, take control of your thoughts, and leverage the power of the vast mental resources available to you in order to translate your greatest desires into their material equivalent. With Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes a day, you can fit that mental work into even the busiest schedule so that you can make concrete progress in your success journey. Each chapter in this book covers one of Hill's original 13 success principles, carefully representing the core teachings. Read one chapter per day so that you can master each step to riches, allowing the necessary time and space to digest the ideas and application potential before progressing to the next one. After reading each chapter, pause and consider the achievement principle you have just learned. Complete the action step at the end of the chapter, and if you have time to spare, go back and reread sections upon which you'd like to reflect further, taking notes about any thought impulses that have emerged in the process. As Hill said, there is no point in having such a great potential for achievement unless you do something to convert it into an actuality. Now is the time for you to begin acting in earnest on your chief aim with the help of Hill's proven success program in only minutes a day. Preface: The Secret to Success. Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive in the form of an impulse of thought. Napoleon Hill's story. Napoleon Hill was born in 1883 in a one-room cabin on the Pound River in Wise County, Virginia. He began his writing career at age 13 as a mountain reporter for small-town newspapers. In 1908, as a young special investigator for a nationally known business magazine, he was sent to interview the great steel magnate Andrew Carnegie. During that interview, Carnegie shared the secret that had enabled him to acquire hundreds of millions of dollars, a magic law of the human mind, a little-known psychological principle that was amazing in its power. Believing that this magic formula should be shared with those who did not have the time or resources to discover it on their own, Carnegie tasked Hill with spending 20 years or more developing this principle into a philosophy of personal success. This research would be conducted without pay. Carnegie merely provided Hill with access to over 500 of America's greatest business leaders in order to develop his success formula. In 1937, after 29 years of research and writing, Hill published Think and Grow Rich, which contains the 13 success principles that form the core of the science of success. Since its release, it has sold over 100 million copies worldwide. More millionaires, cultural icons, and thought leaders attribute their success to this book than any other. Converting obstacles into opportunity. Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich during the Great Depression, which is why its original tagline reads, "For men and women who resent poverty." Hill's goal in writing was not to help people amass wealth for the mere sake of it, but rather to provide people with the encouragement and the tools to raise themselves out of poverty. While there is an emphasis on financial prosperity, Hill notes that his 13 principles of money-making apply equally to acquiring other forms of wealth, including enriching friendships, healthy family dynamics, strong business relationships, power, prestige, influence, understanding of self, and peace of mind. Having discovered, through interviewing Carnegie and other self-made millionaires, that there were principles that anyone, regardless of their level of education, resources, or skill set, could apply to become wealthy, Hill made it his life's purpose to share this information with the world. As he writes in his autobiography, "I am throwing out a lifesaver, so to speak, to those who have been washed overboard into the waters of a restless, unsettled ocean of life, where on so many occasions in the past I found myself struggling for rescue." Think and Grow Rich is credited with having helped end the Great Depression, and since then it has enabled generations of individuals from around the globe to take control of their destiny and achieve success. It has created more millionaires than any other program in the world, and it does so by providing the mental strength to withstand temporary defeat such as rejection and misfortune. Think and Grow Rich details the science of success, but it is also an art. As Hill says, the art of converting defeat into stepping stones of opportunity. How to read this book. This book provides a synopsis of the original unedited 1937 text of Hill's masterpiece, Think and Grow Rich. It extracts the key principles, instructions, and examples so that all readers, regardless of how busy they are, can benefit from the timeless wisdom found in Hill's book. Key terms have been emphasized when introduced, and action items have been added to the end of chapters in order to help readers quickly and effectively apply each chapter's lessons. Wherever helpful, ideas have been rendered in modernized language. The foreword to the original 1937 text contains the guidance of Dr. Miller Reese Hutchinson, a longtime associate of Thomas A. Edison, who believed that the most valuable way to process the message of Think and Grow Rich was to read only one chapter a day, studying and meditating on it in a sustained manner. He instructed readers to annotate the pages, underlining passages that make an impression on them, and to return to these markings to reflect on them at a later date. According to Hutchinson, doing so will allow readers to fully absorb the contents and adapt the principles to their situations. Even with this streamlined version, the same principle applies. Make sure to fully digest one chapter before advancing to the next one. Another reading strategy, suggested by Hill himself, is to apply the mastermind principle detailed in Chapter 9 and form book clubs to study Think and Grow Rich. Such groups enable readers to benefit not only from the wisdom of the hundreds of business leaders whose experiences contributed to Hill's success philosophy, but also from the group's insight, which will continually expand as new sources of knowledge are tapped by reading the book. Choose Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes a day for your book club. Pick and discover the wealth of ideas that will emerge from within yourself, your peers, and the pages themselves. Success is within you. Hill reiterates numerous times in his original preface that the most valuable riches are to be found in the self-discovery that Think and Grow Rich enables. To encourage this self-discovery, Hill refrains from specifying the key secret that brought success to Carnegie and countless other entrepreneurs and thought leaders. Hill hoped that readers would discover the secret on their own, causing it to be all the more transformative for them. He provides the following clue. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. While many have debated over what the secret is, Hill himself answers the question later in his life, within the pages of Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. In Chapter 14, he writes, "Anything the human mind can believe, the human mind can achieve. That is the supreme secret. Truly, deeply believe you will have great wealth, and you will have it." In other words, anything the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. A famous axiom of his initially proposed in Think and Grow Rich and elaborated upon in The Master Key to Riches. The power of thoughts to attract forces, people, and circumstances into our lives is detailed in the introduction to Think and Grow Rich and provides a framework for the entire success philosophy. So it makes sense that one's thinking and state of mind would hold the secret to one's ultimate success. Approaching the summary with the awareness of this secret will not diminish your results. Rather, it should cause you to attend more carefully to the thoughts that arise as you read. For as Hill explains, the 13 success principles provide concrete strategies for amassing riches, but the actual revelation as to what has been standing between you and success and the idea that will bring breakthrough will come from within you as you reflect on the principles. But for this breakthrough to occur and for the success principles to have any utility, you have to know what you want. Action item. Identify your definite major purpose. Hill says you must know what you want in order to get the most out of this book. What is your definite major purpose, your chief aim and most profound desire? Introduction. Thoughts are things. An intangible impulse of thought can be transmuted into its physical counterpart by the application of known principles. Think and grow rich. One sound idea is all that one needs to achieve success. There is a reason that the book is called Think and Grow Rich. Riches begin with a state of mind. The thoughts you think will materialize in your life, particularly when you combine intentional thinking with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and desire. Once your thoughts start attracting riches, however you define them, you will continue to accumulate wealth in abundance, and everything you encounter will become an asset to support your success. Edwin C. Barnes went from rags to riches purely by harnessing the power of his mind. He had identified his definite major purpose as becoming the business associate of the great inventor Thomas A. Edison. The word definite means that his chief aim had a few crucial characteristics. Specificity. Barnes didn't want to work for Edison. He wanted to work with him. Desire. It was motivated by a strong impulse of thought, a driving passion. Determination. It was solidified by a complete unwillingness to give up or take no for an answer. Barnes had two major obstacles in his way. He did not know Edison, and he did not have the financial means to travel to Edison's laboratory in East Orange, New Jersey. His desire was so great, and his thoughts so focused on his definite major purpose, that these obstacles mattered little. He hopped a freight train to the facility, where he boldly announced to everyone's great amusement that he had come with the express purpose of becoming Edison's business partner. Edison met with Barnes and was persuaded to hire him, not because Barnes said anything brilliant or had an impressive appearance, but rather because of his overall expression, which demonstrated the strength of his thoughts. As Edison said, when a man really desires a thing so deeply that he is willing to stake his entire future on a single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he is sure to win. Rather than partnering with him, Edison hired Barnes for an entry-level position, which could have discouraged someone with less steadfastness of thought. But Barnes rose to the occasion, viewing it only as a temporary defeat, wherein opportunity often lies. He perceived his position as a chance to demonstrate his capability, and it enabled him to grow his desire into an all-consuming passion. This mental framework primed him to identify and act on opportunity as soon as it came along. When Edison invented the Edison dictating machine, also called the Ediphone, and his sales associates balked at trying to sell it, believing it had little appeal to buyers, Barnes recognized his opportunity and seized it. He asked Edison to give him a shot at selling the Ediphones, And because of his desire and dedication, he had great success, becoming a millionaire and earning his partnership with Edison in the process. Stickability. Opportunity has the sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Failure typically occurs not because someone is incapable, but because they throw in the towel when met with temporary defeat. In other words, the surest way to fail is to quit. The story of R.U. Darby illustrates the value of stickability, the ability to persist in one's aims despite challenges. Darby's uncle went out west during the gold rush and found gold. Lacking the machinery to mine it, he enjoined Darby to raise funds from their relatives and neighbors. After securing the money and purchasing the necessary equipment, Darby and his uncle returned to the mine and drilled an entire car's worth of gold. However, as they continued drilling, they were unable to locate any more ore. Feeling defeated, Darby and his uncle sold the machinery to a junkman for a few $100s and gave up. The junkman hired a mining engineer who assessed the site and informed the junkman that the previous miners had failed because they did not understand that gold veins often form along fault lines. The junkman discovered that the vein of gold the Darbys had originally tapped continued just 3 feet from where they had stopped drilling. Because he was not discouraged by defeat and instead sought the counsel of an expert, the new owner ended up discovering millions of dollars in gold ore. Rather than wallowing in his ill fate, Darby used it to drive his success in the life insurance industry. He realized that the real source of wealth is one's thoughts, which must be characterized by persistence, desire, and definiteness of purpose. Darby repaid all his debts to his original creditors and sold millions of dollars worth of life insurance every year. He discovered what over 500 of Hill's interviewees, some of the most successful business people in America's history, recognized: that phenomenal success often comes only one step beyond the point at which defeat overtakes you. The law of attraction. Our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts which we hold in our minds, and these magnets attract to us the forces, the people, the circumstances of life which harmonize with the nature of our dominating thoughts. Our minds are like magnets that attract what we think about. The vast majority of people do not use this law to their advantage. Rather than being success conscious, they are failure conscious, which means 2 things. They focus on impossibility, what can't be done, what won't work. They assume their perceived limitations are an accurate metric for the actual limitations that exist. Henry Ford serves as an excellent example of success consciousness. Ford was intent on building a V8 motor, but his engineers insisted that it was simply not possible to cast an 8-cylinder gas engine in one block. In response to their protests, Ford demanded, "Produce it anyway." After a year of failed attempts, Ford instructed the engineers to continue with their work. His thoughts were not bounded by contemporary conceptions of possibility. He set his mind on the feasibility of a V8 motor, and the engineers were eventually unable to unlock the secret to the invention. Ford demonstrated the critical truth in the final lines of W. E. Henley's poem Invictus. "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." We have control over our outcomes because we have control over our thoughts. What we think materializes in a concrete way in our lives. Our thoughts, along with everything else in the universe, are made of vibrations that seek outlet in physical form. They become magnetized and attract forces, people, and circumstances that resonate with them. The key is to remember that this principle does not distinguish between destructive and constructive thoughts. It will transmute, or convert from one form of energy into another, thoughts of poverty just as well as thoughts of riches. As such, you must release any poverty mindset and become success conscious. Action item. Magnetize your mind. Take a minute to journal in response to the following questions. What are your dominating thoughts? Which are constructive thoughts and which are destructive ones? Magnetize your mind by tuning your thoughts to a success frequency. Transform any destructive thoughts into success-oriented ones, or create new thoughts that reflect a confidence in the value you can bring to the world in the pursuit of your definite major purpose and a belief in your ultimate success. Use these as affirmations that you repeat to yourself every morning within the first hour of waking up in order to begin attracting riches, whether monetary or otherwise, into your life. Chapter 1. Desire, the first step to riches. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Burn all bridges. Every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. The trait that distinguishes almost all successful people from the unsuccessful ones is desire, a state of mind that is perpetually focused on the certainty of success. Desire should not be mistaken for its weaker brethren, hoping and wishing. It has the following characteristics. It is definite. It has specificity. It is dominating or all-encompassing. And it is supported by belief. Belief is the faith that you will attain what you desire. This faith readies you to achieve your definite major purpose. First, by enabling you to recognize opportunity the moment it arrives, and second, by preparing you to act on it immediately. You cannot be ready to receive that which you desire until you believe you can and will acquire it. Belief is strengthened by a single-minded focus. Those who are most likely to succeed in translating their desire into a physical reality will burn all bridges between themselves and unrelated or unhelpful activities, releasing themselves from any ties that prevent them from wholeheartedly pursuing their definite major purpose with an all-consuming passion. Hill tells the story of a warrior who brought his armies via ship into his enemy's territory. Knowing that they were outnumbered, the warrior burned all their boats after they had disembarked, declaring, "We win or we perish." This gave the armies the motivation they needed to defy the odds and win. Edwin C. Barnes similarly burned all his bridges when he traveled to Edison's laboratory and staked everything he had on his belief that he would be Edison's business partner. This single-minded focus motivated him to work tirelessly in his initial menial position and enabled him to seize opportunity when it later came his way. Marshall Field, founder of the Chicago-based department stores Marshall Field's, also exemplifies the power of an unwavering commitment to one's definite major purpose. Early in his career, he and a group of fellow merchants met misfortune when their storefronts burned down. While the other businessmen followed the easier path of starting over in a new location, Field chose to remain in Chicago and rebuild, saying, "Gentlemen, on that very spot I will build the world's greatest store, no matter how many times it may burn down." His belief that he would create the world's largest department store in that very location enabled him to use hardship as an opportunity to become a pioneer in his industry. He saw the fruits of that flagship store in the wreckage, and his burning desire ensured that he would accept nothing less than success. Imagination. If you do not see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank balance. Belief requires imagination, the ability to think beyond perceived limitations and to approach all ideas and opportunities with an open mind. It takes only one great idea to succeed. The key is to tolerantly consider each one that arises in your mind to ascertain its potential. Your dreams require visualization to make them a reality. The following 6 steps, initially practiced by Carnegie and approved by Edison, form the backbone of Hill's success formula and will help you transform your desire into its financial or material equivalent or attain any definite goal. 1. Establish in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. 2. Determine specifically what you are willing to give to attain your definite goal. 3. Set a firm deadline for acquiring your definite goal. 4. Create and immediately implement, regardless of your readiness, a concrete plan for attaining your desire. Use the instructions in Chapter 3 to create this plan with the help of the subconscious mind and the principle of autosuggestion. Do not rely on logic and reason. 5. Condense your responses to 1 through 4 and write them in a clear, concise statement. And 6. Repeat this statement to yourself out loud 2 times a day, once just before bed and once soon after waking up. As you recite the affirmation, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your desire. These steps will not only keep you on track to actualizing your desire, but they will give you the fortitude to withstand temporary defeat. Remember, as Hill says, practical dreamers do not quit. Meeting your other self. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. As you single-mindedly pursue your desire, using your imagination to make your dreams a reality, you will likely encounter misfortune. Regardless of whether these obstacles are internally or externally imposed, and regardless of when they arise, you can use them to drive your achievement. Those who reach the heights of prosperity recognize that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Hill uses his son Blair as an example of this principle. Although Blair was born without ears, his burning desire to hear provided him with the impetus he needed not only to find a means of hearing and speaking, but also to use his experience to help others. Do not shy away from temporary defeat. It is an opportunity to meet your other self, the strongest version of yourself that meets trials and tribulations with undaunted courage, iron-willed determination to persevere, and singular ingenuity. When you confront your other self during a time of crisis, it often marks a turning point in your life. Discovering your remarkable capacity to create useful ideas through imagination, your ability to transform your strongest emotion into constructive beliefs, changes the dynamic of your success journey entirely. Your personal success equation. There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. If you combine a state of mind characterized by belief, courage, and open-mindedness with the working knowledge of the 13 success principles, everything you desire will come your way when and only when you are ready for it. Action item. From definite goal to definite plan. Reread the 6 steps to transform desire into its physical equivalent, and if you have not already done so, complete steps 4 and 5.